and we're into round 5 of GDKO 2022.
Oh, by the way, this is what the player is going to be listening to.
I'm Xanderwood. I make indie games and tutorials on game development. I also play your indie games every week on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you never miss a video. Well, my fellow game devs, GDKO Round 5 is in the bag, and I have big news. GDKO Round 6 will in actual fact be the penultimate round, the semi-final, the final furlong, but more on this later. In Round 5 I asked you to remake the classic Atari game Leaper. A simple but extremely challenging game where you need to get a mouse to the top of the screen 6 times to light up some letters. Your job was to remake the game with as much polish as possible. Unlike previous rounds, this task put you head to head against another developer. This means that only a first place finish would guarantee you a spot in the next round. In round 5, that developer was JJ and Friends with Behind the Screen. JJ and Friends finished 14th in round 4 with eGaming Studios Inc. and achieved a personal best rank and making the top performers list in round 3 with a 3rd place finish.
Hi, play with me, hi.
Okay, stop. Go sit in the corner, we'll call you later.
Okay.
In Behind the Screen, JJ and Friends took the remake in a whole new direction, from the perspective of the AI. With a wonderfully written narration and great 3D, 2D mix of visuals, this game was teeming with polish, well paced and very fun to play. Now let's take a look and see how everyone else ranked in round 5. To pair up the developers in round 5, I created a random pairing generator in Construct 3. I'll show you how it works at the end of the video, if you're interested, and want to check to make sure it's not fixed. Games HQ versus Van der Vaas generator. Games HQ placed 19th with their game Leaper, which means Van der Vaas needs an 18th or higher finish to qualify. Lucky for them, it's an 8th place finish, which means they'll be joining JJ and Friends in round 6. Next up is Prince Galador versus R3 Games. Prince Galador stayed very true to the original style of the 1986 version, but added a bucket load of polish, making it stand out from the crowd. Their efforts earned them 3rd place in round 5. This means R3's game Smokestack needs to bag 2nd, or they'll be at the hands of the GDKO judge fighting it out for the wildcard spot. It was bitterly close, but R3 ranked 4th, meaning PG advances on this occasion. Tough break for R3. Next up, Sleeping Forge versus Game's Favourite. Sleeping Forge was the wildcard pick in round 4. Can they get themselves through of their own accord in this round? Sleeping Forge remade Leaper using a hand-drawn sprite in a simple black and white portrayal of the arcade classic. With an 18th place finish, will this be enough to beat Game Favourite's lovable 2-player penguin climb? Sadly, Sleeping Forge will once again be at the mercy of the GDKO wildcard pick, as 2 penguins slides in at 9th, moving Game Favourite one step closer. Next up, Dev Pirates versus Derpy Dino 35. Dev Pirates turn Leaper on its head, or on its side, with their entry, Meme Fault. But can they outrank Derpy's entry Leapfrog, a wonderful little vertical scroller where you have to click and fire your frog up the screen while avoiding enemies and traps? On this occasion, Dev Pirates takes the win, outranking Derpy by 5 places. Edoxel versus Turquoise Moon. Edoxel made a game about Steve, who was more than perceived. But can their game Super Duper Part 5 be perceived as a game worthy of round 6? They'll have to outrank Turquoise Moon's entry Hopper if it is. Hopper is a game where you have to collect carrots to redeem them for buffs and upgrades. Hopper placed joint 9th, meaning Edoxel needs 8th or better to avoid elimination. Unfortunately for Edoxel and Steve, a 15th place finish means they may well be at the end of their GDKO journey. Next up, Federico Calchera versus Epic Noob 1004, who recently changed their name to Crimson Wolf Games, battle it out for a chance to progress. But can Crimson Wolf's game Leaper, a throwback to the old Atari style graphics, outrank Federico's game Infinite Leaper, where your job is to outrun the rising lava? Unfortunately for Crimson Wolf, Federico takes the prize with a 6th place finish versus 19th. Charcoal versus Endmark Games. Endmark was nervous heading into this round, but are their feelings unfounded, or will we be saying goodbye to Lasso the Cowboy Bull? Charcoal made a game called Reaper, a nice little twist on the original. But is it enough to tame the bull? Endmark respectfully lands in 13th, meaning Charcoal will need a top 12 finish to secure a place in round 6. It's death for the Reaper on this occasion, as Charcoal notches in 21st, and now must face the GDKO judges. Fennec Fu Games vs Spoon Sweet. Fennec Fu has been making a late surge in the competition, but they have definitely come up against a formidable opponent in this round. Fennec Fu made a simple Leaper clone with a hilarious soundtrack. Spoon is sticking with the Beekeeper, adding some Leaper functionality in and combining it with some bee buffs in Leaper Keeper. Spoon leaps in at 12th, but 4 places behind in 16th is Fennec Fu, meaning it's elimination for Peeper. Will Reardon vs Yanni Boy. Will Reardon snuck into the top 10 in round 4 for the first time, and his reward, a pairing against community favourite Yanni Boy. Will made a charming little game called Hopper, where you play as a yellow bird who needs to feed her chicks, a game which landed him in 14th place. The question is, can Yanni Boy beat 14th place with his ninja-inspired take on the game? In Yanni Boy's remake, you play as a ninja frog, and the world is out to destroy you. Avoid a range of different enemies as you jump through the gaps in an effort to get your frog to the next level. Yanni Boy's remake lands him in 2nd place, meaning 2 things. Yanni Boy has landed a top 3 spot for 2 rounds in a row, and 2, we could be losing Will Reardon from the competition. It's 9-5-10 versus JJ and Friends. As we know, JJ and Friends won the round with Behind the Screen, which means It's 9-10's game, Beeper, although securing a 17th place finish, must be thrown to the GDKO judges' elimination pool. It's 9 will have to wait and hope it's enough to win the wildcard. 89O vs Kingjaw.
Hey everyone, it's me, Kingjaw, and I've made a game for the GDKO Game Jam.
Kingjaw jumps in 6th place with Jump Knight, a delightful game about a little knight. The story element is brilliantly done and the game is super polished too. As 89O didn't manage to submit, Kingjaw gets a free pass to the round. Mighty Jaw vs Ponk Games. It's another pass in this round as inevitably the creator of the famous Randy saga has bowed out. Ponk Games threw together something in the 11th hour, and I bet they're glad they did. And even with a dead last finish with the game Leaper, a rough and raw rehash of the 1986 version, it was enough to progress Ponk Games into the semis. That means the last pairing is B-Bomb vs Winged Wolf 123. And as neither dev submitted a game to the round, they're both eliminated from the competition. Ponk Games, Kingjaw, JJ and Friend, Yanni Boy, Boonsweet, Endmark Games, Federico Calchera, Turquoise Moon, Dev Pirates, Game Favorites, Prince Galador, Van der Vash Generator all have successfully progressed to round 6. Mighty Jaw, 89O, B-Bomb 11, Wingwolf 123 have been eliminated due to non-submissions, which means it's time to hand over to the GDKO judges to see which dev will be thrown a lifeline and move forward into the semi-final rounds, alongside our round winners. The devs at risk of elimination are It's 9-5-10, Will Reardon, Fennec Fu Games, Charcoal, Crimson Wolf Games, Edoxil, Derpy Dino 35, Sleeping Forge, R3 Games, and Games HQ. This round the judge picking the wildcard will be Icoso. Icoso has a YouTube channel and sometimes uses Microsoft Office to make games and pixel art.
The only next logical step to take is making an incredibly stupid open world game in Microsoft Word.
He also made a game called Minima and hosts the GeoJam on itch.
Hey, what up? I'm Icoso, and I have been given the opportunity to choose the wildcard. Sounds magical, I know, so I'm gonna get right to it. My choice for the wildcard for GDKO Round 5 is Leaper by Gameshark. No, it's Games HQ. That makes way more sense, actually. This is an extremely well-made version of the original game and has a lot of great polishing touches, and I can definitely see it being played on a retro console. It's obviously been very well thought through and refined, as well as keeping to the main aspects of what the recreated game had. Honourable mentions also go to Leapfrog for the awesome music, and Reaper for the particles. Thanks for having me involved, and well done to everyone in GDKO.
If you made it this far, you really should pat yourself on the back, as you've outlasted some worthy opponents. It's such a shame we'll be saying goodbye to some wonderful devs. In round 6, we'll be losing 8 more devs, leaving only 5 that will progress to the final and fight it out for the GDKO t-shirt. Round 6 will also say goodbye to the community voting. From here out, all the judging will be done by our 5 GDKO judges, and the top 5 ranked games from this round will progress to the final. Round 6 is the audio round. Create a one-button game with the theme Audio. A one-button game with a sole button that the player uses to play the game. No mouse controls allowed. This task will be judged on how well the audio fits the game. Don't be confused, it's not about who can make the best music. Consider sound effects, ambience, background noise, music, or even silence if it fits your game. The judges will also be taking into consideration how well the game was made, and also how fun it was to play. You'll need to put your best work on show if you want to make it to the final. The jam page is now live, and you have until the 18th of April to submit your game. Good luck, and I can't wait to find out which 5 of you will be making it to the final of GDKO 2022.